Just.
All right. Welcome to episode 0. We've been here before, but the new and improved and relaunched Inner Circle Pod Boys podcast. I'm your boy Dub. That is my brother Stretch. It's been a long time. What is good?
Hey man, everything is everything. It has been a while, but you know what? I'm glad we're back. I've got some stuff I need to get off my chest.
So if this is your first time here, which it might be for a lot of people, we are coming together because number one, we just like spending time with each other. So this is one of the ways that we could just spend time with each other. But also, it's hard for us to argue over text all day.
True.
So this is a much better format for us to get this off our chest. But we also want to teach people that you can have arguments and differences and everything, and it can still be all love and respect at the end of the day. And I think we both agree that there's way less of that these days, and people can get real heated about things. But I think at the end of the day, we all kind of agree on some basic things. So you go from there and you lead with love, and then you can talk that mess.
Facts. Big facts.
So obviously, as you can see, this will be a very Giant-centered pod. So, we will have our other brothers on who are Eagles and Cowho fans, but don't expect any positive talk about those teams here. So I apologize if that's your thing.
Ever.
That's not what we're going to do.
It's not what we're about.
So let's get started. So obviously, if you are familiar with my boy Stretch on Twitter, we are going to make sure that we drop all of our socials on Twitter. But we were both a little pensive about Jackson Dart at first. But as you can see here at the bottom, we have come together and said, you know what, maybe we weren't giving him enough credit. And I'll be the first to say that I was completely wrong about him. He has all of the things that I think that you should have as a franchise quarterback. And I think that he has all of the things that you have to be a New York starting superstar in any league.
That is very important.
This is a tough place to be. People love you when you're good. They will hate you if you are bad. And if you don't have the mental fortitude, I don't care how good you are as a player, they will ship you out of this town. So I'm glad for all that. But our first topic, should we have fired Daboll, though? And I'm going to let you start.
All right. Piggybacking on the Jackson Dart thing. He was right. He was right. His guy was ready. When we first drafted him, I didn't like it at all. I was highly against it. Everybody knows that I'm a huge Shedeur Sanders fan, and I look back on our other podcast, we actually talked about it. But I was wrong. That boy got it. That boy is it. And Daboll was right. His boy was ready, and he came out swinging for the fences. Matter of fact, his first game, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to say it. His first game mirrored Daniel Jones' first game to the T. They're both their first touchdowns were rushing touchdowns. Both their second touchdowns were passing touchdowns. It's crazy how their starting game actually mirrored each other. What doesn't mirror each other is the fact that Jackson Dart has swag. That young man is the definition of white chocolate. He might be light skinned on the outside, but he's definitely a brother on the inside. I have been enjoying it, and I think that firing Daboll is honestly, I think it's going to set him back. Jackson Dart was drafted specifically for Daboll to groom, and he was doing quite well. He was doing very, very well. As a matter of fact, I think he scored. He scored every game he has been starting in, and I want to say it's either a rushing or a passing touchdown, but he has scored in every single game he's played in. He has scored in an opening drive. I want to say 6 out of the 7 games he's played in. You know how long it's been since we've had that as Giants fans?
You know how long it's been since we had a quarterback that could rush? Good Lord. Good Lord. So seeing somebody get out the pocket is just it's just
Not
fun
even
to
just
watch.
out the pocket, his agility in the pocket, the way he maneuvers in the pocket. Daniel Jones, yes, he had that straight line speed, but he didn't have the wiggle that Jackson Dart does. Jackson Dart's pocket awareness is miles better than what Daniel Jones' pocket awareness was. And I attribute all of that to Dable. Dable focused on his boy. He made sure that his boy was ready, and his boy was ready. He came out the fences swinging. It was, I ain't gonna lie, it was beautiful to watch. I think firing Dable's gonna set him back. Honestly, I really do. I don't see Kafka doing what Dable does as he's truly a quarterback whisperer. I think if we were to firing him, I honestly think we should have waited to the end of the season. You know what I mean? And got somebody in here who was, who is familiar with Jackson Dart's makeup to take over for Dable. But honestly, I honestly think he should have got another year. I know we weren't winning, but I don't attribute that to him because they were scoring points. I attribute that to the defense. Shane Bowen is a bum. I don't know why he's still here. Why is he still a part of this team? I don't understand it. He should have been the first thing out this door. Yeah, he should have been going a long time ago.
We could both agree on that. The epic fourth quarter collapses to me, and this is the reason why I'm going to disagree slightly that I think that the firing is okay. And the reason why is because yes, we could blame the defensive coordinator, but like also the buck stops with you. You can at any time, and coaches do this all the time, take the responsibility away from the DC and the OC and say, here's our design, here is our philosophy, here's what we're going to do. You can tell them to be more aggressive during the game, not aggressive during the game. We had 4 fourth quarter collapses. I can't rest all of those on Dayball, but last week we kicked a field goal at the 1, putting us up by 10. And we lost that game. And I'm not necessarily saying that's the wrong thing because Russ was in the game, and we all know what Russ does at the 1. He's not very reliable at the 1 yard line. If we remember that.
INT, Super Bowl.
But I also think that the danger that a lot of teams have is that you wait too long to fire Dayball. And so what I wouldn't want to see is, let's say like T-Law, right? T-Law had Urban Meyer, right? And it obviously didn't work out. But it stunted him for an entire year, well, 2 years really. And then they gave him a new coach, and then that didn't work out, and all these other things. But it was way too long having that one. My hope
in season though, like that to me, that doesn't do anything. It really doesn't. What does it do? It doesn't do anything but set you back in season. Like you're building towards something during the season, and it's looking good because you know your guy is balling. Yes, we're losing, but again, I said I'm not putting that on Dabble. Yes, he is the head of the. He's the head. Yes, that is very, very true. But that's his boy. It's his defensive coordinator. Like, he's trash. Why would you go to prevent? We've seen it. We saw it in the Cowboys game. You went to prevent defense, left the middle of the field wide open, and they marched down the field with ease.
Yeah, I can't understand rushing 3 when we have 4 capable pass rushers.
That doesn't make sense to me. Why are we going to prevent defense anyway? We're not a prevent defense type team. We are a get after the quarterback, matchup man on the outside, get after the quarterback, let the pressure do its job. And he's not doing that. He blitzes 17% of the time or something like that. That is horrible. We have 4 very, very good pass rushers. And I'm including Dexter Lawrence in that because Dexter Lawrence had 9 sacks last year as a nose tackle. That's wild. 9 sacks as a nose tackle is unheard of.
And he was hurt.
Like let's let this think about that. 9 sacks as a nose tackle and he's playing hurt. Yeah, he's still, and honestly, I think right now he's still playing hurt to this day. He's trying to play through it like a leader should. And I give it to him. But come on, you have 4 very good, 2 great pass rushers. We have one who leads the league in sacks. He leads the league in sacks. He's on the ladder for Defensive Player of the Year this year. Yeah. And you telling me we're going to go into a zone and drop him in the coverage? Stop it. You're a bum, Shane Bowen. You need to go. I can't wait till they fire you. I'm going to have a parade. I'm going to have a party.
I think this is more of the problem, and I think this is where we definitely can agree. The problem is with Mara, because the thing is that, all right, in other years, it's been keep the coach, fire the GM. Then it's been have the GM have way too much power like Gettleman did, and then do a horrible job at crafting the team around things, keeping Daniel Jones for far too long, letting Saquon walk. And then now Shane's not done a bad job. I don't think so at all. I think he's actually drafted very well, and he's done free agency acquisitions very well.
I can agree with that.
Now Mara has sided with the GM, but you let the coach pick the guy. So like that's where I can agree on you, but that's kind of the problem. But it seems like Mara is going in this direction to go like, hey, we want to do something else. That just means to me though that you got to fire everybody. Like you can't just go keep Shane, don't have him. You got to fire Bowen. Like there's no way on God's green earth that you could have this talent up front and play soft. Even if we don't get the results out of it, I don't care, bro. You can't rush 3 in this league. Prevent defense. The talent is too talented. You cannot play prevent, and that is what people have tried with. They tried that with Mahomes, his whole career.
He iced him up,
and he's every single time. Even with worse talent, he did that with Juju Smith-Schuster. Because he just knows, all right, this is where these things are soft.
Yep.
And you can't cover every inch of the field, especially with the quarterback being an additional weapon. You can't have a spy and play quarters.
Yep. It's just not possible. It's
just not. And you're going to have the 3 that you are rushing, they are going to be exhausted because they're getting no push. You're keeping them in the play for 20, 30 seconds at a time. They're trying to chase down mobile quarterbacks. And don't forget, our division has all at least somewhat mobile quarterbacks.
Everybody's a mobile quarterback in our division. There's not one quarterback in our division that's not a mobile quarterback.
So what are we doing? Why are you putting together something as if we got Carson Wentz,
statues back there,
and like it's the North. Like it's not. We're not the AFC North. Like we're not the NFC North. We're the East, and in the East we have this thing. So I think that if we're gonna fire Dable, everybody's got to go. I don't understand waiting at all. I know there's like some coach people that are kind of in the realm. I know that the Steve Spagnuolos of the world and all this other stuff, but there's also like, don't bring me Cliff Kingsbury.
Yeah.
Don't bring me Kevin Stefanski. And these people are at the top of the list right now. And it's like you're going to uninstall Dable, who has a proven record of a guy like this, and install people. Oh, I saw Mike McCarthy, bro. I cannot think of a worse coaching candidate than Mike McCarthy. He got so lucky by having the talent of probably a top 5 talent of all time, and still only got one fucking Super Bowl out of it.
I seen something somebody said. Mike McCarthy doesn't build teams. He takes teams that are already built and he does things. You know who that reminds me of? That reminded me of Gettleman at GM. He took a team that was already built and he took that team to a playoff. Same thing with what's his name? Our last coach. Not Judge, the one before Judge. Who was before Judge? Was it Sherman?
Yeah.
He took a team that was already built, but he couldn't take that team. He couldn't build a team and take that team elsewhere. I don't like it. I'm not a fan of McCarthy. I wasn't, and you know, it's crazy. I would say this. We got Cowboys fans who are, our friends, our family. I laughed at them when they picked up McCarthy as coach because McCarthy's not a good coach. McCarthy just he takes over the talent. He doesn't coach. He doesn't build a team. He takes over a team that's already has talent. Our team has talent. We still have building blocks that we need to put in place for this team. And I'm not a fan of McCarthy. I hope he's not on the list. I really do.
I don't like these things too. And even like with the Spagnuolo pick, like Spag was our interim for a little bit. And I love Spag, but it means that we have to have an offensive coordinator that really can have the vision going because again, he's a defensive minded guy and he's the greatest DC that maybe we've ever had, right? And
might be the greatest DC in the history of the game, honestly, if you think about it.
Facts.
Chips.
I'm with you on that, but that's why it's like, okay, Spagnuolo thing has this one thing, but like this McCarthy, Stefanski, like stop bringing coaches that don't have a track record. And like I get it, McCarthy is got the one Super Bowl that keeps on getting him jobs. But when you look at every other collapse, and one of those collapses was against us in 2011, that Packers team had no business getting beat the way they did by us.
It was 41-20, wasn't it? 41-20 us, I think,
yeah.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, we beat the snot out of them.
They got the snot beat out of them. They were completely unprepared. We ran the ball well, even though we had the worst running offense in the league. They let up a halftime Hail Mary to Akeem Nicks that had no business being completed. And then Eli just literally picked them apart. They failed on fourth down a bunch of times in the game. Aaron Rodgers could get literally nothing done, even though at that time we really only just had Jason Pierre-Paul as our primary rusher. But they were just throwing the kitchen sink at him, and they couldn't get it going. So you tell me all of that, all of the failures in the playoffs, and that's what we want to bring to New York. I would much rather say, young guy that we have a lot of time to figure this out. Give him somebody that can really say, hey, let's build on him. We can build in the draft. It looks like that we'll be able to go get another receiver where we are in the draft.
We need one.
But we're in position where we can get our pick of the litter at this point.
That's true.
And so you have that. We obviously need to work on defense, but that's what money is for. And no one's on the payroll. Like, honestly, like we have a handful of people, like Burns is obviously on the payroll, but everybody else,
the rookies are on the payroll. We got the rookies.
It's all rookies. Our wide receiver 1, our tight end 1, our running back 1, our running back 2 who's currently starting. Tracy is still on a rookie contract.
Yep. We have a healthy payroll. I mean, we have a healthy cap. That's what I will give Sean. I will give Shane that. Coming up, we will be the healthiest we have been in the cap in like a decade.
Oh, absolutely. But that's why you got to spend the money in the right places as that becomes available. And I know that we talked about in our text thread about like how we really want to kind of add a wide receiver right now. But I think it actually was the good idea to go like, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet. Don't encumber the money right now and say, okay, we can get a Tate in the draft and say Tate Neighbors, Wandale. As much as I like Slayton, I think that he's a cut. I
think Slayton should take less money. I think he should take a pay cut. I think he'll end up staying only if last game. I'm not gonna say it was a fluke, but that one-handed snag that he had was I was sick. I'd never seen Darius Slayton snag anything with one hand ever in life.
But so he had a terrible drop in the Broncos game.
Yeah,
he had a terrible drop the week after in the zone. And so, like, as much as I like Slayton, his hands are not super reliable. So, yeah, if he takes a pay cut, he could stay, but it will then become he's then a rotational player, and then it becomes Wandale slot.
He's going to be the Sterling Shepard. He's going to take on the Sterling Shepard role that Shep took on for us before we.
And I'm fine with that. But then again, we've not paid any money there. So we should be using the money wisely to say, hey, let's build on things where it's always good to have pass rushers. It's always good to have good defensive players. It's always good to have offensive line. It's always good to have these things that can transcend years and then say, hey, we were already humming on offense without a lot of these things. Dart is humming without Neighbors. That's the wild part. It's like he's over here humming without Neighbors. So
hey, that young man got it, man. He got it.
It's a wrap. And what you do as an organization is you plan. I would say this needs to be a 2-3 year plan. We should not say like, hey, we're all in for next year. I don't think that's a smart.
We're not there yet. We're not all in.
The Eagles. I would be surprised if AJ Brown is an Eagle next year. I'd be very surprised.
I don't think so.
I'd be very surprised.
So he put out yesterday. I don't.
They're going to have a weakening. Saquon's only going to get older, so they're going to take a step back. Jaden Daniels obviously had a terrible injury. It doesn't look like it's going to be a long-term super effect to his non-throwing arm, but that's a step back. He hasn't had a year with Terry McLaurin. He hasn't had a year with McLaurin. Exactly. He hasn't had any time with Debo.
Nope.
They brought on Eckler. That didn't work out. Bill Merritt, looks like he needs a lot more time to kind of get things going. He definitely wasn't ready. So they took a huge step back. And then the Cowboys, I mean, they'll pay anybody and everybody and they don't care, but it bites. They said they're going to franchise tag Pickens. And bro,
Yeah.
this is what happens when you have a rich man that runs a team.
Let him eat up let him eat up that little bit of money that they have left. Let him keep making bad decisions.
I don't understand how anybody could get away with. If it wasn't for Mara, I'd be like, Jerry's the worst owner in the East. But it still might be Mara at this point.
Jerry does what he wants because Jerry runs the league. If you think like everybody listens to Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is the front runner in the league. Like, and one thing I will give Jerry Jones, he does what he does, and he does not care. He doesn't give any Fs. He doesn't. He does not care. And I kind of wish that our owner had that, just a little bit of that. Stop listening to what everybody else is saying. Who cares what they say? We know that Mara he scrolls Twitter. We know he scrolls Twitter because if he didn't, he wouldn't he wouldn't have got rid of Dabble so soon. He wouldn't have got rid of Joe Judge when he got rid of Joe Judge during this. Like we know he's on social media. We don't know what his name is, but we know he's on social media. I wish Mara had just a little bit of what Jerry does, because Jerry doesn't care. He does not care, and I kind of like that about him. He does what he wants. He does what he thinks is going to be best for his team. I will give him. Quentin Williams was a fantastic pickup for them. That was a fantastic use of resources for what they have, to get him. So I will give them that. Outside of that, that's as far as I'm going with the Clown Boys.
No, but that's the thing about, like, we need to quickly, especially since we've jumped into this era's type of quarterback, we need to run a franchise in this era, and that's Mara's problem. Mara is stuck in this 1980s Taylor and let's get Sims and let's play smash mouth football. But that's just not the way the league always works. So
not this era anyway. This is a passing league.
No, exactly. It's a passing league. So Shane has given you the ability to say, hey, how do you combat that? You have an excellent pass rush. Yeah. So now you have to give the back end some help to say, all right, if we don't necessarily get there, these guys are too good, and you need to have somebody that can at least go, all right, you can't stop all these guys. A team like Dallas, you can't stop Pickens and CD. You could just say, Pickens, you get to beat us. And we got to try to take away CD. And then you ask Dak to say, all right, without your best weapon, if you beat us, then you were just better than us on this day. Yeah. With Jaden Daniels, you have to say, you are the weapon. How do we keep the weapon in the pocket? How do we keep him out from escaping? And for the Eagles, we go, all right, we know they're going to try to run the football. Yep. How do we force them to be offense first instead of defense first? Yeah. And that's what Dart did to them. That they got so punched in the mouth their first time playing Dart. They were so unprepared that you can tell it threw their game plan off. They did not game plan to have this offensive outburst. They thought, we're going to go into Giants Stadium. MetLife. We're going to go into MetLife, and we're just going to beat up on these guys, run the ball, nice little day off. First drive was a touchdown. Second drive, touchdown. It's 14-0, and now you go, we were going to run the ball 50 times this game. All right, we got a disgruntled wide receiver. Uh-oh.
Can I interject on something real quick? As I want to run it back real quick. What you said about the back end. We spent money this offseason on Javon Holland, Paulson Adebo, and somebody who has been a pleasant surprise, who I didn't think when we drafted him was a good DB, because he really wasn't known. Cordell Flott right now is ranked as the number 5 cornerback according to PFF. He has the fifth lowest rating when targeted at 51, or is he? He's either 51.4 or 61.4. I'm not sure. I got to look up the actual stats. But he's rated as the number 5 cornerback. I did not think Cordell Flott would be as good as he is right now. Deontay Banks. Cordell Flott was a fourth, fifth round pick. Where do we? I can't remember where we drafted Flott.
I believe it was. Let's go right now.
Yeah, let's see if we can pull that up. See where he was drafted at. But Deontay Banks, being a first round pick,
he was in the third round, the 81st pick.
Okay. Cordell Flott was a third round pick, and it's 3 years since we've had him. We drafted him 3 years ago. He was 20 years old when we drafted him. Mm-hmm. Do I think Deontay Banks could be better than what he is? As a first round pick, you need to be. You can't have somebody like Cordell Flott pass you up and be the number one DB on the team. Well, no, he's number two DB. Number one is Paulson Debo, who is coming back from injury. So I will give him grace. He's trying to work his way back. So he's going to get grace this year. Javon Holland, the same thing. He's working his way back. We pay good money for him. I'm going to give him grace. I think they should be a lot better next year. Cordell Flott has come out of nowhere to be a top DB in this league. Deontay Banks, if you see this, step your game up. We traded up for you, matter of fact. Not only were you your first round draft pick, we traded up to get you, okay? You're a man cover corner. Only thing you need to do is turn your head, my boy. It ain't that hard. You see the wide receiver's eyes go up, you turn your head. You locate that ball. That's all you need to do. It's not a hard thing to do. Cordell Flott, the first year we had him, we played him in the slot. He looked lost a little bit, but he's a rookie. Second year, we put him on the outside. He had got a little bit better. This year, he is amazing. He is amazing. We haven't had him the last few games. He's back this game. So, he's going to step back up. Paulson Debo, he's also back this game. So, he's going to step his game up. Our back end needs help, but this is not the draft to do it. It's not really too many DBs in this draft that are actually any good. Deontay Banks, we need you to step your game up, boy. We need you to step your game up, bro. You have to. It's imperative. It is a must. It is a must. You cannot shy away from this. We drafted you in the first round. We traded up to draft you. You got to do what you need to do in order to help our secondary, in order to help our defense, period. Because he's going to be here next year. It's not like he's not going anywhere no time soon. They're not going to trade him. He has no trade value.
Yeah.
He literally has no trade value at this point. So you're going to be here. So why not put the time and put the work in? What's so hard about putting the time and work in to do your job?
But that's what I'm saying. This is where we could have a good use of money discussion, right? Like this is where we can spend money wisely and say, okay, we can shore up these things. And there's a lot of people.
Who are we going to buy? Who are we going to?
I think there's a lot of people that are going to go into next season not being super enthused with their team, and whether they're willing to take a smaller amount of money to come to a franchise that has a history of winning. I think the Bengals are going to lose a bunch of different defensive pieces, and I don't like their overall defense, but I think that some of their defense.
Anybody on the Bengals? I wouldn't touch anybody on the Bengals defense. They easily.
What if Hendrickson wants to leave?
What'd you say?
What if Hendrickson wants to leave?
I mean, he only signed a 1 year, $30 million deal, so he is a free agent this coming. But who are we going to? But who's he going to play over? Kayvon. I know Kayvon's contract is coming up next year, but they want Kayvon here, so Kayvon's he's going to be resigned. Abdul Carter he's a rookie contract, so he's not going anywhere. Burns, we gave him a brand new 5-year contract.
Burns not going nowhere.
He's not going anywhere. And are we going to shoehorn him into the fourth? I'd rather draft a pass rusher, honestly. If we're going to do that, I'd rather draft somebody than spend $30 million on another one. We have 3 very, very good ones.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, giving him as an example. Like there's a lot of people that I think I think you'll see this manifest itself in the AFC more than the NFC. So the AFC has this big problem of everyone spent all this money on defense to combat Mahomes, but the problem is that they've gone way past their window, and now they have to pay all their offensive players. The Bengals are a good example of that. They had to spend all this money on defense. It didn't necessarily work out. And now you've got Burrow, T, Chase. Like, you spent so much money now on offense. These defensive players don't make sense. You got to go try to draft and get better on that end quickly. The Bills are in that position too. They spent a lot of money on defense, didn't get anything out of it, but I think that some components that they could be able to do. I think that the Steelers are in that realm. I think the Steelers have a ton of money on defense, and they need offensive type of things.
Let me say something about the Steelers. Tomlin might come free, might shake free from the Steelers after this year. Would you?
Listen, bro. You think Mara's going to have a black head coach, bro?
You know what? Nah.
Tyrod had to be our first black quarterback by accident.
Actually, he was our second.
I'm sorry,
Andre Woodson was our first black.
Andre Woodson, but Tyrod had to be here by accident.
He was our third. We had Geno Smith.
Oh yeah. That for that small amount of time.
Yeah,
I just don't feel like that's a Mara hire. It's not a Mara hire.
I see a John. John Harbaugh might shake free. I see a John Harbaugh.
Yeah,
I think that's that. But Harbaugh might be pat. He might be getting a little long in the tooth in the game.
That's why, I really like the Spagnuolo has the familiarity, and then you get an OC that can work with Dart, and then because he's so defensive oriented, he could really kind of get the most out of our players and really kind of understand scheme and everything for today's NFL.
It'd be like Dabble all over again, because Dabble he's an offensive mind, so he floated more towards the offensive side. It'll be the same with Spags. Spags, the defensive mind, he'll float more towards the defensive side.
That's fine. I don't think that's a problem, because Dart,
but it's going to stunt Dart's development.
I actually don't think that Dart is very far off of his development. I think that his problem is going to be decision making, and I think an offensive coordinator can bring a game plan down to where you're playing towards the strengths. Because Dabo's thing is he's the Josh Allen whisperer. Josh Allen needed way more time to get where. Again, I'm saying this of an MVP, but he was not there on year one where Dart is there on year one. He can make all the throws. That's not a question. Allen's question was, could he make the throws? Because everything was a goddamn bullet. And can he do touch throws? Can he do fades? Can he do all this? Exactly. It was accuracy. Dart's, that's not necessarily Dart's problem. Dart's problem is twofold. Number one, protecting himself. 4 trips to the contestant tent in one season is way too many. And I think it's more than that. I think it's actually 7. I think it was just 4 recently.
4 recent. But yeah, no, I think it is more than 4.
It definitely is more than 4. And then problem number 2, because he had taken 2 big hits in his first 2 games, but he never went to the tent.
That's true.
I think that was a mistake. If I'm the Giants, I'm like, bro, if he takes any big hit, take him off the field. There's no reason why you employ Russ and Jameis and you don't protect him as much as possible. We're not going to put him in a bubble. We've decided to let him out on the world. But if he looks any sort of limping, or not, take him off the field, bro. We don't have enough wins that this matters. The other thing for Dart is it's just decision making. And again, it's a rookie thing. During that Broncos game, even though he led us to the end of the game drive and put us up before Bo Nix came back and obviously sealed the game for the Broncos, he had a very bad pick. And it was a pick where you didn't have to necessarily fit it where you need to fit it. We just need to come out of there with points. We were in the red zone.
He shouldn't have thrown it. He should have took the sack.
Absolutely. So at the very least, yeah. Do you want a field goal? Of course not. You want a touchdown, especially when the other team is scoring at will. But at least you're not turning the ball over instantly. We cut off more time, and then maybe Bo Nix doesn't have enough time to drive down the field and ice the game.
That's very, 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 very true. That's why I don't think we should have got rid of Dabble, because Dabble was coaching him up out of that.
Daboll's actually I've never been impressed with Daboll's end of game strategies. I've never. And we could blame some out of Daniel Jones, but
he was coaching the year. The first year he was fine. His end of the game strategies worked out perfectly fine that year. The following year, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. This year, yeah. But I don't put that on him. I think he brought in a limp dick defensive coordinator. And he shouldn't have brought him in. That defensive court, that DC, Shane Bowen, is not right for this type of offense, for the players that we have. He's not the DC that we need for the type of players that we have. It's not. Honestly, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Wink fits this defense better than Shane Owen fits this defense.
Of course.
Because this is a upfield, get after the quarterback defense. Help the back end as much as possible by relying on that front four. That's what this defense is built for. And Wink did that spectacularly for us. Like that's who should still be the DC for the team that we have now. For the defense that we have now, not Shane Bowen. We don't have cornerbacks who are zone. He's a zone DB. I mean, he's a zone defensive coordinator. We don't have cornerbacks who are adept in zone.
No,
we have man-to-man cover corners. Yep. That's what we have. That's not him. It's like fitting a square peg in a round hole.
I think that's the ultimate. I think that's the ultimate Daboll problem is that Daboll should then just be our OC because at the end of the day, you have the power to say, Bowen, you're going, you're out of here. And if Mara's not empowering him to do that, then Daboll is never going to be able to control what is happening here. So that's why if it's a Harbaugh, if it's a who else was on the list that is kind of like that, a Kiffin. There's a bunch of different people that like it's their team. They understand that these things have to be done, or otherwise you all got to get shipped out. And I think that right now, number one, you got to fire Bowen, and whether you keep Shane is.
There's no way you keep him. There's no way you keep him.
I think you clear house when you clear house, but then you have to instill somebody that is it's the coach, and the coach everything dies with the coach. I just don't think that Mara. I think that Mara was never going to give Daboll that opportunity. And Mara is very much – he reacts too much to what is happening outside in the papers and on Twitter and all this other stuff. That's how Eli's streak got snapped. That's how we had all these unfortunate shipping people out, not trying to give Odell a contract, not trying to give Saquon a contract, giving Daniel Jones money because other quarterbacks are getting that money. Like, bro, none of that matters. You need to do things that are the best for the team. Don't give him $150 million when you could have franchise tagged him and see whether you have it in him and then get it the next year. We passed up on, and I'm not going to lay any blame on this because nobody knew that Allen and Lamar Jackson were as good as they were. But we did lose out on Allen and Lamar, Herbert, Hurts,
yeah.
Who do we? Oh, Caleb.
Yep.
I'm trying to think about who else did we miss on.
We also traded up for JD5 too.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. So we missed out on, and we missed.
We could have traded up for Drake May too.
I'm not going to say Tua because we never should. We never would have drafted him. But we had our eyes on a pick, and we went. I mean, Gettleman picked Eli Apple, bro. Like what? How?
You picked Eric Flowers too.
Yeah. How did you come out of all those things and decide we're going to do this? And then I know that Shane has kind of fixed it, but Mara is still playing the whole. He's kind of controlling everything from the sidelines, but he obviously needs help in crafting his team. If we take out Eli's 2 best years, Mara has had an awful run as the owner of this team. Awful. I understand that Eli did have some 10-win seasons and 11-win seasons that we did not go to the playoffs, or we went to the playoffs and we lost, unfortunately. But again, a lot of the personnel decisions and coaching decisions were on the back of all of that. And Coughlin, as good as he was, sometimes didn't have full control over what he was able to do with the team.
So let me say this about Coughlin, and I agree. Well, we saw that when Coughlin was fired by Mara, and he just walked off the stage, didn't even acknowledge Mara. But let me say this about Coughlin. Coughlin was a defensive first head coach, and it worked for that time. I don't know. I just don't think it's going to work this time around with what we have on offense. But I loved Coughlin. Coughlin was probably one of, if not my favorite coach, because of he brought us 2 Super Bowls that weren't even looking like we were going to even make the playoffs with the teams that we had, and he brought us 2 Super Bowls. So I'd have to say Coughlin's probably my favorite coach of the era, but I do agree he didn't have the control that we thought he had. It was the imagination of control, but it wasn't control. And we're actually seeing that now. I agree. Dabble didn't have the control that we thought he had. And it's come out in in these past few past few days and these tweets and everything that there's a lot of things that happen with Dabble uh, having a bad ego and things like that. So I honestly I think that it's just again having the illusion of control, but not actually having control over the team. The team is basically controlled by Mara, and I think Mara needs to take a step back. And matter of fact, and I'm not going to say this, and I don't want nobody to take this the wrong way, because I don't mean it in that. I hope his recovery goes smooth and everything, but I think him getting cancer is going to force him to take the step back.
Absolutely.
Him having to recover from cancer, and we've had family members who've gone through cancer treatments and have cancer, and I wish nothing but the best for Mr. Mara, and I hope he beats cancer's ass. I do, but I think this is going to force him to have to rely on his GM more so than ever in order to get this right, because he's going to have to take a step back in order to concentrate on his health.
Absolutely. And I think that, and then we'll move on after this thought, but I think that's exactly it. It's like you can't want to run the team and then not be able to run the team and then not install people that you can have your vision. And again, he's going to pick the people who are going to have these roles.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's stepping back and going like, damn, I have no control. No,
Yeah.
He gets to decide who the GM is going to be. He gets to decide whether the GM can hire the head coach or whether he hires the head coach.
I think Shane stays, honestly. I don't think they fire Shane after this year.
I don't think so too. But you need to say clean house with Bowen too and say,
yeah. Kafka got to go.
Oh no, you say Shane. Listen, it's a short leash. You have this opportunity to say, Coach, OC, DC. I'm going to be very involved in this process, but I want you to line these people up, and you tell me how this vision is going to work with whatever pairing that we go here. Yeah. And you tell Shane, you have 1 year to make us look like we can be competitive. You can win 7 games and keep your job, but it better be we competed the whole time, and it's just because maybe there's another hole. But another 5-win or less season is an instant firing.
Yeah, I think it's one next year.
Honestly, if we get to 7 losses before we get to 7 wins, you might just fire him on the spot. Because you may say, hey, this is what we talked about. It doesn't look like we're making progression, and I got to clean house then.
Let me interject real quick. There's 2 people in the front office that they need to go, and the only reason why they won't go is because they are legacies. They're nepo babies. Tim McDonald is one. He has to go. 12 years in the front office, and he hasn't had anything to show for it. I mean, he's the head of player development, if I'm not mistaken. He's the head of player development, but he's a nepo baby, so he's not going anywhere. But they honestly need to get rid of him. He's not cut out for it. He's not cut out for it whatsoever. And the other one is his brother-in-law. I can't remember his name. I'd have to look it up. But he's also a nepo baby. He has to go. He's been there for 10 years too. He's got to go. It's not helping the team. I understand you want to get your family in there. Cowboys got their family. Their family runs.
Every owner does that.
Yeah, and I know we're both us at Cowboys, we're Packers as well, Steelers as well. We're all teams who we were some of the first teams to ever come into the league. I want to say the Giants were first and the Steelers were second, and that's funny is because the Giants and the Steelers are family connected.
Yep.
I wish we got people in positions who knew what to do in those positions and not just put people in those positions because they're family, because this is my grandson or this is my nephew. We need people who know what they're doing, man. And
this is the thing where, so for the people that don't realize this, every decade that I've been alive, the Giants have won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And that is through 5 different decades, right? So 5 different decades, every decade we've had a win. This is the only one where we don't have one this far. And we are in that 5th year of that decade. So here's the thing where we go, are we going to start competing? And it's the perfect time as Again, how many more years Mahomes has this in this? I'm not sure. How many more years Josh Allen can compete at this level? I'm not sure. Lamar seems like he's already breaking down a little bit from the workload, so that's already a worry. So you're talking about the three kind of premier MVP candidates. The NFC is wide open.
Yep.
And I understand, again, the all of you Eagles fans might kill me. Hurts is a product of this team. If you take Hurts and drop him into a lot of other teams, he's not going to be successful. And I'm not saying he's not good, but the Eagles have to maintain exactly what they are doing right now. And I think their run game is going to take a huge step behind. I think losing A.J. Brown, which is basically an inevitability at this point because he is super disgruntled. Everything's going to take a step back while everyone's taking a step forward. And it's the same thing that happens to all these Super Bowl teams. The price of a Super Bowl is everyone has to get paid. And the problem is you can't pay everybody. So that means you lose just talent organically. And because you are the 32nd pick, your 32nd pick is just not going to be as talented as the other picks. So now you're behind the 8 ball, or you traded picks in order to get the people that are on your team there. So you may miss out on a second rounder here and a third rounder here, but that compounds over the years.
Yeah.
The Chiefs are one of those few teams where the quarterback is so good, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. It doesn't really necessarily matter. The quarterback matters. Their problem is that they're about to lose Kelsey, which is obviously a huge, he's one of the best tight ends ever.
A big blow to their offense. That's going to be a huge blow to their offense.
How many more years is Andy Reid going to do this? I think that the Giants really need to think in 2 to 3 years, we could be a premier team because there's nothing that is holding us back from doing that. We don't have these organizational things, but that's where if Mara doesn't say either I'm going to give up the reins and say, here's what's going to happen, or I'm going to put people in places that can make good decisions for the future of this franchise, then we will sit in this weird position where the window is open, but we didn't do anything about it. And then these other teams are going to figure it out eventually. That's what happens with all these teams. The Rams were playing around with it. They're like, you know what? All in on Stafford. And it worked out from them. Detroit went all in on Goff, and it didn't work out for them for that 1 year, but they have this identity where Campbell is the guy. That's the ideology that they want, and they play that style of football. It's gotten them to the championship game. And that, for a franchise, I think that that's where you want to be. Keep on taking bites of that apple. You don't want to be the Bills and keep on failing there, but at least they're getting the bites at the apple every year.
That's true. That's very, very true. That's very, very true.
And I'll leave with this. This is the final question. You don't even have to necessarily answer this. Tell me why Dart can't be May.
Because I think Dart's better than May.
So that's what I'm saying. Why can't Dart be May?
May. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
And a rookie running back. That's the extent of the offense that he has. He's got 9 wins. Why can't Dart be that? I'm not necessarily saying even next year, but
this is May's second year, right? If I'm not mistaken, this is May's second year.
Second year. Why can't he be that?
He wasn't doing any of this his rookie year. I mean, when he did get a chance to play, he wasn't doing what Jackson Dart is doing in his rookie year.
No, but that's exactly where we could be next year with one team that was the head of the division for so long and still has a talented team in the Bills, where that's your benchmark. But the rest of the division is super weak. You don't have to worry about them. We're in that exact same position. We have to worry about the Eagles. I don't think that we have to worry about the Cowboys. We certainly don't have to worry about the Commanders. And why can't we be the 9-win team next year? What other team in the NFC is really that dominant where we go, oh man, they're going to block us from having 9 wins?
There really isn't a team in our division that is that dominant where we're like, oh yeah, that's an automatic loss. Honestly, no. We need to get a head coach in here who's going to instill that into this team. Though that's the thing, we need a head coach who's going to lead us.
I completely understand, but my other point is we have the hardest schedule in the league. What happens when we don't?
We've had the hardest schedule in the league for the last 3 years.
But what happens when we don't? What if we get the AFC South?
Well, I don't think there's a day when we won't have the hardest. We've had the hardest schedule 3 years in a row.
Oh, this is
the hardest schedule 3 years in a row.
This is acceptable.
How? Why? How and why? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Having to play the West is nuts. That is nuts.
The worst. I'm not. I wouldn't put it past that we're gonna have a top 5 hard schedule next year as well. They just don't like us. They hate us. They want to keep us down. I don't see this trend ending anytime soon.
Well, we'll see. We'll make sure that we get the right people in place, but we'll talk more about it as these kind of things kind of go along. I mean, there's a lot of, and again, I don't think that, I think that, and we'll talk about this on a different episode about how the betting markets are working. But I think that the betting markets can give you an insight of who is moving up or down, the likelihood of who's going to become the head coach.
That would tell us that McCarthy is going to be the Giants head coach.
What that just tells me that he was one of the first people that was going to get an interview, because the thing about Vegas that we will talk about in a different episode is they don't lose money. And the reason why is because they have an information advantage. So they may know, hey, he's about to get an interview. He might not even be the most likely coach to get voted, but because they know he's going to get an interview, somebody else is going to go, look, I got this great insider information. McCarthy's getting interviewed today. Let me put some money down on him being the coach. And they entice you by going like, here's some decent odds. Well, they're like, we know that, but we also know this other guy has a meeting too in a week.
Let me say this, though. Remember, our last two coaches came out of the blue. They weren't even on the radar as far as, going to be the head coaches for our team. So I want to say, like, the odds for the last two coaches were two well-known coaches. But the two coaches that we got were two coaches who just came completely out of left field. Yep. So I wouldn't put too much stock into what Vegas thinks. Okay, I will say this though. One of my boys hit me up and he said, the DC for the Packers is the dark horse to get the job here. Mm. His name is Jim Hafley. Yeah. He's a New Jersey native too. On top of that, so if you get a chance, watch his little presser that he had the other day. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you on online. But his presser, basically everybody was saying what came out, oh yeah, that's the next Giants head coach. So I wouldn't put it past that he might end up being our head coach. And he fits the DC mold like you want. He fits the defensive coordinator mold like you want.
So I say that all to say, number one, if you're out there, gamble responsibly. We're going to devote a whole pod to this about, I think that people, because you have access to it on your phone, I don't think that people really understand what is happening in the betting markets. And I think that too many people are not betting wisely if you do choose to do something like that. And I think that if you can understand the market a little better, you can't necessarily beat Vegas, but you can make your odds way better. And these are the type of markets that, to me, have a lot of manipulation in them because, again, Vegas has an information advantage. So they're giving you odds based on what they think you're going to bet on versus, like you said, there's a dark horse in there, right? So I bet you that if we look today versus a week from now, I bet you that your dark horse starts moving up the ranks in the betting market and starts being less and less of a good bet. So if you're responsible and you're like, I'm going to throw $10 on this guy who's 30-1 to win this, that to me might be a smart bet, right? Because now you're saying it's a small amount of money. It's not going to interrupt anything that's going on in my life. But I think that this guy may be a dark horse. But what they will do is that you'll start hearing the name. It'll start going out on Twitter. It'll start going in the news. We'll start seeing it on ESPN, and they're going to creep him up to a place where now the money doesn't make any sense. It's 5-1 or 7-1 or something. Now you're not getting enough out of this for you to be risking money on. So we'll talk about that in another pod. But we will, as these changes for the next pod, we'll talk about the most likely candidates and how we feel about them, but that'll be on episode 2. Kind of next up, and we spoke a lot about the Giants, so I just kind of want to touch on this kind of quickly. So this is a sports-oriented kind of pod, but we also kind of talk about the mixture between sports and real life and the intersection. I don't know what Stephen A. is doing, but I know that I don't like it. And so what has happened, if you have not followed, and let me see if I can share my screen let me bring this over. All right. So if you are unfamiliar, and hopefully everything can be seen here, we're good?
I can see the blue screen. I don't see the clip yet.
There we are.
Okay.
Sorry, y'all. It's been a long time since we've done this, so I'm trying to get back. So Stephen A. is somebody that I used to have a tremendous amount of respect for because he was trying to say, hey, the hard work that you can have and the ideology that you have your niche, that you just lean into that niche and then you could show that your worth is more valuable than anything. And then you don't have to compromise your own individual goals and objectives. You can have everything on your terms. And he started to do that. He didn't like the way that Skip Bayless was doing things. He didn't like the way that there wasn't enough Black voices in the media. And right before COVID, he was uplifting all these different types of people to do stuff. But then during COVID, he had this weird about face where he started tapping into much more of a kind of extreme conservatism ideology. He basically got Max Kellerman fired because Max Kellerman was doing way better than him on Black issues, especially George Floyd, right? Especially with boxing related stuff, especially with UFC stuff where, you know, it wasn't just a Black or a brown thing. He was fighting for people to be able to get paid what they need to. Boxing, UFC, all these places, college football, Max Kellerman was a big proponent of why are we, but before NIL came out, why are we not paying players? And Stephen A. was toeing the line a little bit. But today, what Stephen A. has done is, number one, he's obviously looking like he wants to run for president. And then he's getting himself into these weird spaces where, and I'll bring up the tweet.
I think Stephen A. did say that he wants to tap into politics starting after this year.
Bro, what is this? What is this? What I do not like is when Black men use a platform to talk down on Black women. There is no other class who need less of this than Black women. They need more pulling up and us showing love and us bringing them into the fold and us making them feel safe. This type of stuff literally makes no sense to me. And then he had another tweet. Hopefully I can find it.
He had a tweet about Jasmine Crockett too.
Yes, he had a tweet about Jasmine Crockett. He's having a fight with Michelle Beadle. But again, I'm saying this to say he's turned himself into basically a Fox correspondent this morning, and I can't find the tweet right now, but he had tweeted about the Epstein files, talking about why didn't the Democrats release it before? If you are going to talk about these things, I need you to have a base level of education. Even if you want to say something about the previous administration, the Epstein files were sealed until 2024. And for people that can't do math, that is the last year of the Biden administration. If you want to have an opinion about Democrats and Republicans, I am here to have a conversation. But I am not here to start out with someone who has a gigantic platform. Let's look and see how many people he has that follow him. 6 million people follow Stephen A. Smith. So when you put out information that is on its face incorrect, and he calls his podcast the Straight Shooter Podcast, and if I can't tell you how corny that is, that you've taken on this Fox News gun range, conservative-leaning crap and said this is what you're about. After all the things that you've said about Skip Bayless, after all the things you've said about how some of the people on ESPN, like what was her name?
Wally?
No. It was the other woman who got taken off of the air because of her political stance. It'll come to me.
Oh, Sage Steele.
Yeah, no, not her. The other one. It'll come to me. But if you're going to talk all that stuff about, again, we can even use Sage Steele as an example of, regardless of your political leanings, you can't do these things on ESPN because ESPN is owned by a company who's owned by this rich person who has these political ideologies. Stephen A. is saying, hey, I can become big enough that I can do this thing on my own. He's got his own pod. He's got multiple pods. But when he's on ESPN and now he's bled this into everything else, he's towing this weird line that is not beneficial to A, I'm just going to say it, his people. And then B, why are you constantly fighting with black women about these things. He said on this, I didn't even watch all the pod, but I watched most of it. He had 5 minutes about Michelle Beadle and then 30 minutes about Jasmine Crockett. First off, Michelle Beadle is a TV personality. Jasmine Crockett is a U.S. congressional member.
Yep.
Regardless of whether you agree with her or not, this is not even comparative, bro.
No.
You want to have stuff on the face of, here's her legislation, here's all this other stuff. I think there's a welcome place that we can talk about her and Cory Booker and Hakeem Jeffries and all these other people in the reference of, here's what's happening with our community, here's what's happening and affecting us, here's how they are either agreeing or not agreeing with the current administration. We can do all this stuff. But what is super gross to me is the fact that Stephen A. has become Skip Bayless.
Yeah.
He has become the thing that he
has.
It's literally the Joker meme of die and be the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And he does this with LeBron, which I hate more than anything else. He's challenged LeBron about being a good dad. Bro.
There's nothing in the world that shows that LeBron has been a bad dad.
And again, we have a pod that we are going to record offline because it's going to be 4 hours about who the GOAT is in the NBA. Oh, yeah. And you know, my brother believes it's Jordan, and I respect that. But we're going to debate this, and I'm going to tell him why it's LeBron. LeBron is a far better ambassador to the league than any other player that has ever lived.
Agreed, fully agreed.
So the only one closest is Bill Russell, because Bill Russell literally was in the midst of high-class racism in Boston while he was winning 9 to 11
championships. Yep.
And winning on the college level, winning as a coach, being one of the first black coaches to coach in the NBA. So yeah, I think that's the benchmark that LeBron can't get over. But everything else about bringing the league to a larger audience, bringing the league to a place where there's zero scandal, there's zero things. Everyone's only complaint is that he got his son into the league.
And he didn't even get his son into the league. His son worked his way into the league. And he was a first-round draft pick.
But that's the thing that Stephen A. Smith has been keying in on, and somehow that makes him a bad father. You just named in the last segment that in every other league, the owner brings in all of their family members.
Exactly.
So he had a child who was, before his heart condition, was the #1 ranked player in the entire country, went and had a not-so-spectacular college career, admittedly, but it's not like he was drafted in the top 10.
He was drafted in the second round, where second-round picks that are drafted in NBA at his position are draft stashed overseas. So you telling me he didn't deserve, a homegrown player didn't deserve to play? He was a number 55 pick. Any pick 50 and below is always drafted and stashed overseas. I have yet to see a player who wasn't drafted stashed overseas come over and play in the league that was picked at his position or picked where he was drafted at.
I challenge anybody who has and this is kind of a tangent. I challenge anybody who has an issue with Bronny being in the league. I want to see all your tweets about Jared Hood-Schifino, because he was the pick of that same class the year before.
I don't think he's even playing in the league anymore.
He's not. So my thing is that Bronny, yes, he's still trying to find his place in the league, but he's on a roster. And when he plays, he tries hard, and he can be this 3-and-D guy that can fit into a team paradigm. But if you didn't have that energy for Jared Hood-Schifino and LeBron's son, I think that you're ignorant to the way that the world works. If LeBron would have gotten LeBron could get Savannah in the league, and I'd be like, all right, because he's done that much for the league. We can say, Savannah, you get to be the 12th person on the Cavaliers. And nobody in the league should be able to say anything to LeBron because he's gotten that. But he has a son who's been able to do that. And what Stephen A. didn't like is that LeBron checked him to say, you can say anything about me that you want. Don't do that to my son, because my son's trying to forge his own thing. And all you're doing is attaching my name further to his career, where he should just be evaluated on the merits. You want to bring up his video and go, hey, I don't think this was a great idea. He's got to learn how to be here. I think that that's a fair place to be. But if you say, hey, you only got here because of your father, I think that that is one of the most ignorant things that I've ever heard in the history of sports podcasting and even on ESPN. And that's the thing. He doesn't understand his reach. And that's my problem with him right now. And I've said way too much, so I'm gonna toss it to you. But this is what really kills me about today's era. There's too many people that get a bunch of followers and then forget what their reach means and what their words mean. People today are going to take things on face value. If you're not careful about the way you craft arguments and all this other stuff, then it becomes a problem. That's how Shannon had to leave ESPN, because it got to the point where Skip was making him into a caricature.
Yeah.
And when he said, you don't know the league like I do, how you can say that to a Hall of Famer with a straight face and get away with it?
Somebody who's never played a down of football ever in his life. Maybe he played out in the streets with his friends. But to tell somebody who's a Hall of Fame player that he didn't know what he was talking about, man, get going somewhere.
No. And I'm not even saying that to say that every single person who's played in the league has a great opinion. I think LaShawn McCoy, I don't even know what he's talking about that night.
LaShawn McCoy's hilarious, though.
He is hilarious. And I get it. He's understood his niche of say ridiculous kind of things, go viral, and that. I mean, there's money in that.
That's true.
But also, too, we've gone so far away from ESPN used to be a reporting place. And I get right now our attention spans are so small that we can't watch an episode of SportsCenter. That's not what they want to do. They want to say, get up. They want to say first things first. They want to say first take. That's all that people will listen to because they want the sound bites of here's my hot take. Here's me arguing. That's the reason why Mad Dog is still even around. How do you have Mad Dog in his 70s talking about sports, talking about the 70s Steelers were the best football team ever? Man, if you don't get his old ass out of here.
Colin Cowherd's another one. Honestly, he's been around for so long, and I think he needs to go too. Honestly, because
the thing that I will give grace to Colin Cowherd because he's brought people on that will replace him, and he knows that. So his media company has brought people that are all types of creeds and races, all types of ideologies and everything. And those people are super good at what they do. I think that Simmons is good at that too. I think Simmons has created a thing where he really understands, hey, yeah, Simmons is the name that brings people here, but he's giving other people the ability to go and say, hey, we can kind of do this. And that has led to people like Nick Wright, who I think is really the excellent example of you can have hot takes, but at the end of the day, there's still a baseline level of you're not lying to anybody. You're not making and fabricating things. He loves the Chiefs. So sometimes his fandom shows.
Kansas City.
But
he's from Kansas City. So, I mean, that makes sense.
He doesn't come out here and lie, and he also doesn't put other people down in order for him to get forward. Him and Mina had a disagreement about something, and he was the first to say, yo, don't get on Mina because she disagrees with me. She's extremely talented about what she's saying. She's earned her spot. So my disagreement is about the content, not the person. Stephen A has a problem with people. And that's where I disagree with them. Have an argument about the content. Go and pull up LeBron stuff. Say that, and even Skip Bayless was this to a degree. Every time that Skip Bayless would complain about LeBron, it's the fact that LeBron doesn't shoot great free throw percentages, especially at the end of games, which was irrefutable. But he never talked about it of LeBron's not a great player. He just said that was what Jordan had the edge on of that. In the fourth quarter, he didn't care who else was on the team. He didn't care who else was on the floor. Give me the ball and get out of my way.
Kobe was the same way.
Yeah, but that's where Stephen A, I think, falls extremely short. Is now he's become too big for his own liking, and now he's going to go run for president, which I can't think of anything any more funny than that. And it's just a ridiculous thing where you don't understand your own stature and you don't understand your own, I don't want to use the word place in the world because he can do whatever he pleases. But I think that he's seeking money. He's not seeking influence. He has influence. He just wants the money that comes along with it. He wants to see that courtside at the Knicks game.
To me, he seems like he's become more of a people pleaser than what he used to be. He used to be somebody who spoke his mind. He didn't really care about what other people said and think, but he's now become a corporate bot, if you will. And once you start conforming to that, it's time for you to go. I think the person you were mentioning before you're trying to talk about was Jamel Hill.
Thank you. It was
Jamel Hill.
said Jamel Hill. She was having some talk about the role of media in the Black life, especially with
Jamel
women.
Hill, Bomani Jones, and Michael Smith. They were three sportscasters who were like how Stephen A. Smith was before he became who he is now.
Exactly.
They spoke their minds. They were unapologetically Black, and I loved it. They were censored, and you really don't hear much from Jamel unless it's on Twitter. You really don't hear much from Michael Smith unless it's on Twitter. And the same thing with Bomani Jones, even though Bomani does have a small segment that he does. I want to say it's on Sirius Radio.
I won't plug any other podcast unless it's one of our brothers, but his podcast is the best podcast when it comes to sports.
I love Bomani Jones, man. He's one of my favorites. He's always
I think it's called The Right Time. Yeah, it's called The Right Time with Bomani Jones. And he talks about things in a very honest way, but he's also very good at expressing thoughts and ideas and bringing it to the audience. When you have the chance, go look up the one about the Dayball firing, because I think it's a very interesting look into that type of thing. But he talks about literally a bunch of stuff, and he's a big college guy, so he talks about the role of NIL and how himself. So he's a really good mind. But again, these are all people that it's about the thoughts. And Bomani could go back to an ESPN type of thing, or get a Yahoo thing, or get a DraftKings sponsorship, or all these other things. And he said, no, I'd rather be able to say what I want, and I'd rather be able to flesh it out in this hour-long to 2-hour-long podcast where it's just my thoughts about these things. Mm-hmm. Where people like Stephen A. are, what would the people that give me money like to hear?
Yeah. That's exactly what he's become. And I used to be a fan of Stephen A. Again, like I say, because he said what he wanted. And it just now it's to the point I don't even bother to listen to, because it's like you just saying what you think the people who pay you want to hear. And I don't like it. I really don't. I've been put off from him. Matter of fact, when he went after LeBron on it about his son, that's honestly the start of when I was like, all right, yeah, Stephen A., yeah, it's time for you to go. Yeah, because honestly, what you were saying, and like you said, what you were saying about LeBron and his son, like, yo, that it didn't make any sense. Like, this is not somebody you should be putting down. This man has come into the league in 21 years in the league. You have not heard of one scandal, no gambling issues, no infidelity, nothing. He has literally been the perfect role model, the perfect superstar role model for kids to follow. And behind him, you had Steph Curry, who's the same exact way. You know what I mean? These guys are perfect superstar role models, the opposite mode of what Jordan was. We all know Jordan was, in my opinion, he's the GOAT. The greatest, but Jordan was a womanizer. Jordan was a degenerate gambler. Jordan, he a heavy drinker. He was a heavy drinker to the point where, if you notice now, his eyes are yellow from jaundice, kidney issues. Jordan was not a good person. He was a phenomenal generational talent, but on the opposite end, on the other side, the dude was a horrible human being, cheater. You know what I mean? A womanizer. He doesn't care because he knew who he was. You know what I mean? He knew he'd get what he wanted. You have a person in LeBron, Steph, who are perfect role models on both sides of the spectrum, and you chose to put that down. Like, yo, That showed me your character as a human being. You are a trash individual for that. You are literally a trash individual. He didn't get his son to leave. His son worked his way to that point.
And that's the thing that kind of kills me too about Stephen A. is at the end of the day, even if that was true, why would you choose to tear down another black man like that?
Facts.
Even if, again, all these things that we were saying about Jordan, no, he has not chosen to have that tact.
You say nothing about Jordan.
He has not said anything about Jordan. So again, I don't even agree with tearing down Jordan about that. It's just when people make the comparison, we have to make that comparison. Jordan also has done a lot of good for the league. So
He has.
So when, again, when he put out his Netflix thing and all about all these things, and it was super popular, Jordan is the reason why basketball is popular the way it is today. No one is arguing that at all. He is a net positive for his community, the basketball community, for the United States. I mean, he is all these different things. But when you go to LeBron, so his son's in the league, and then the team hopping thing again is a thing where people are going to have, but he never did it under contract. He never once said, I won't go out the rest of my contract and go, now I'm a free agent. He is the king of player empowerment. He said, I think it's Gil Scott Heron who said this. If the person who signs your check is worth billions and you are the one that is enabling them to earn billions, you're underpaid. If LeBron, especially when he was on Cleveland, Dan Gilbert is the billionaire. Ain't no reason why Dan Gilbert could be the billionaire without LeBron.
That's true.
LeBron is all of these superstars are underpaid.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand they make hundreds of millions of dollars. You don't think that Steph Curry is the most underpaid player maybe outside of Tom Brady in the history of sport?
I agree.
He took a franchise that was never even on the radar except for a small amount of time with Tim Hardaway, Chris Webber, and Chris Mullin.
Yeah. Yep.
And he took them to be one of the most historic franchises of all time. And he did it at a lower rate than everybody else. Even still today, he took a lower rate than all the other superstars. He makes less than Giannis.
He sure did.
He makes less than LeBron right now. He's about to make less than a whole lot of other players, but he said, you know what? I understand that in order for us to be successful, I need to do this. And he's done it with no complaints, no scandal, no problems, playing. Honestly, he could go and golf the rest of his life.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, you know what? I'm not giving up on this. I still think I could do this. So I say all that to say there's no reason to tear these people down, especially when you're at Stephen A. Smith's level, unless you've gotten to the point now where your bosses are telling you that you have to do that. And that's when you need to walk away. And for Stephen A., you can walk away. You are now bigger than the product in which you are paid to do. And I'll be very honest, Stephen A. Smith is underpaid. He is the only thing keeping ESPN running.
I think he's what, $20 million a year? I think that's what he's at right now.
Criminally underpaid.
Yeah.
Criminally underpaid the way that
he's literally sports and he's literally ESPN. He's the only reason why ESPN is still afloat.
He's the star of two of their biggest shows. And if not, his opinions bleed into the other shows. He designed, based on the back of Skip Bayless and his partnership, the modern talk sports show. So now every sport has Perkins or has LaShawn McCoy or all these other people where they're a little bit rabble-rousers, right? Put in a hot take and see where it goes. And, Jason Williams and, all these other people that are going to have these hot takes, Orlowski, all these people are saying wild stuff every single day. That's Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless's baby. But now he's all that remains. So for me, he's super underpaid. But what that means to me is that you need to stand on business and say, hey, listen, this is what I do truly believe. If you guys are now in this other business of things that I don't believe, especially about me, my people, the game, or whatever, I'll take my business elsewhere. Yeah. And you try to replace Stephen A. Smith today. It's not going to happen.
He's ingrained in everything in ESPN. There's no way they can replace him. And when he does leave, it's going to leave a big hole.
And I love I love Greeny and I love all these other people that come from that era. But the Pablo Torres,
they're not.
you don't need traditional media anymore. Pablo Torre is successful on his own. Nick Wright is successful on his own. Even Stephen A. Smith, they can be successful on your own. You don't need these super big things because nobody watches TV like that anymore. You can just pop on a podcast and thank y'all for watching this one. But that's the way that people get this communication now. They want to go, I trust this person's opinion. I only want to hear from them. I don't necessarily need Kendrick in the background spitting nonsense, right? You want to get down to what happened today that this expert will be able to say, because I know the game or because I have a relationship. I mean, again, I'll leave it at this. Stephen A. got big because he knew Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
And he had a personal relationship to be able to go, while all this craziness is happening, this is what AI thinks.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone was very interested about what he thought because he was, even though it was still the Lakers league, it was Jordan's league and the Lakers league. And he was the MVP during that. But he was setting the tone for the league. Everybody was getting braids. Everybody was getting baggier clothes.
He changed the culture of AI. Changed the culture of the league.
Fam, he's the reason why I'm bald because I don't got braids.
I remember, bro. You were honestly, you probably the biggest AI fan that I knew growing up.
Bro, he made it so if you weren't 6'4" and a forward, you could say, you know what, I could play in this league. And he did it to the highest level, and he did it unapologetically. And so when Stephen A. was at that moment, he never attacked Allen Iverson, the person. He attacked what he was doing that was damaging his brand and his play on the court. He always said, hey, you're hanging out with people that aren't good for you. He's saying that, not practicing is not good. He's saying going out and gambling before your games is not good. He was always saying what is happening on the court, but he never said Allen Iverson's a criminal like other people were saying. He was not saying that he was a thug like other people were saying. He wasn't saying that he should be getting in suits every single day and not expressing himself like David Stern tried to do. And he was always about that. So that Stephen A., I can't reconcile to this Stephen A. to go, bro, if you're going to stand on the business then, and now you won't stand on the business now you're money seeking. And I can't be about that. I can't be about that at all.
Yeah, he's conforming to the corporation. It's time for him to go.
We agree. All right, so we've already gone this long, but I wanted to make sure that I give my brother the ability to talk about some stuff. So we want to end every single pod on a positive note. So for those that don't know, my boy Stretch is super into health and wellness and exercise and longevity, and obviously we are getting along in the tooth as we age, and
that gray hair.
especially in the Black community, we want to be able to put sports and wellness. So I'm gonna turn it over to you to talk about some stuff, and then we'll do some positive affirmations. We'll get out of here. So
one thing I do want to say is,
let me pull you up to the front. Get me out of here. All right, go ahead.
Thing I do want to say, as us as Black Americans, and not just us as Black Americans, but everybody, in the world, as you get older, it gets harder to maintain your health if you're not, on top of it. One thing I had kind of stopped going to the gym for a little bit because I hurt my back, but I've been back in the gym consistently, and I found that being in the gym not only is good for your body, it's also good for your mind. So Mike will attest to this. My brother Dub will attest to this. I talk to my brothers every day about working out. And it doesn't be something small as walking, just go for a walk. I mean, this year, and I don't know if it seems like that everywhere across the United States, but this year seems to be unseasonably warm for this time. Get outside and go for a walk, man. Get up in the morning and do 10 push-ups. Hour later, do another 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups. But we need to take care of our health. We've been losing so many people at such a young age. And it's not right, man. So I want you guys to take it upon yourselves. Once a day, just do something small. Because once you start doing that one small thing, I promise you, you're going to feel good. You're going to feel better. And that one small thing is going to yield another small thing. And it's going to yield another small thing. And before you know it, you're out there working out. It doesn't take all of 5 minutes to do a small workout. A lot of people work from home nowadays. Get out on your floor, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups. When you on your 30-minute hour lunch, eat your food. But before you eat your food, go for a walk. We want healthy individuals in this world. We want everybody to live as long as possible. So I implore you, please, and we're going to do this a lot more often. I'm going to start incorporating. I'm just going to start telling you each and every day or each and every podcast that we do what workout I did today or what I'm cooking for dinner, because I love to cook as well, and we'll also get into that as well too. I'll start, I'll put out some recipes. We'll throw up some pictures of stuff here and there. But get out and walk. Go do some push-ups. But please, 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 please take care of yourself. That's all I want to say. Thank you, Doug, for giving me this time, and I appreciate it.
No, and this is going to be a regular part of our segment where, I'm going to give my brother the floor to be able to do this. I'm going to put his Twitter account in the show description, but he's talked about spawning off another one where it's just going to be health centric and everything like that. So that way he can spend most of his time talking to the Cowboys fans on his main one. but in all seriousness, he preaches to this kind of every single day. He's always checking in on us about, are we keeping up with our exercises? We've had friends who have had sports injuries, and he will talk about this in other pods. The really nice thing is, because my brother has gone through sports injuries and service related injuries, first off, thank you for your service. We just had Veterans Day. But he's had all of these, and he can help you guide through, hey, my shoulder's not messed up, my knees are messed up. How do I be safe and be cognizant of these exercises? So he's been able to talk to all of us about, hey, start here and you won't put strain on your back. Start here, you won't put strain on your knees. And again, I've always been telling him he can go into the fitness industry and really pull together. But again, if you were to hit him up and like, hey man, my knees are all, he's going to tell you, man, listen, you got a pool somewhere you can go to. You got something where you can do less stress on your knees, and he can put something together. And obviously he is, he's a great father and husband and family man. So he's always talking about cooking, all this kind of stuff. So he could tell you, hey, here's some healthy options to be able to, it goes hand in hand. It's not only just we got to exercise, we also got to eat well. And how we're going to end this pod today is we're going to do this every single pod. Mental health is the key to all these things. Yeah. If you're not where you need to be mentally, none of these other things can happen. So especially in our community where we don't talk about these things, if you are in need of help, if you are in need of talk, if you are in need of anything, reach out to someone. It doesn't matter who that person is. I hope that you have people in your life like I have with my brother and the other people that we will introduce as we go along here. But we speak to each other every single day. And if we don't see the message in that thing, we're getting a direct message from my brother saying, hey, we didn't hear from you yesterday.
Exactly. Yep. You
good? And as long as you're like, yeah, I'm good, then we do that. Every time I'm like, hey, you got a minute? Hey, yeah, sure. I got what? Call me right now.
Yep.
Go over this. My brother, on more than one occasion, will be like, "Yo, bro, he's got a young boy now, right? Even to drive up back home, you good?" And I'm like, "No, bro, you don't need to drive all the way across the country for me." But it's one of those things where when you are not having your greatest day, that there's someone there to listen. There's someone that's going to have your back, and there's someone that's going to lift you up to get you back to where you need to be. And our other brother will come on. We're going to have a special segment of just this about mental health. This is what he does for his business and his career and his life's work. But if you need the next level, which is the professional help, especially if you're at your darkest times, there's people out there that can help. So that is the key to all of this. And everybody needs to be honest about that. And everyone needs help. It's not embarrassing. It is so now, you could just go onto your phone, go to your Apple or your Google store and go therapy.
Yeah.
You can go get low cost or no cost therapy if you have insurance, and you could just literally talk to somebody. And that could be the difference from you making an unfortunate permanent decision in your life. And I hope that nobody ever gets to that level. But I assure you there's people out there that love you. I assure every single person that is listening to this, there is a person that loves you. And even if you haven't heard that in a while, or even if you don't get that regularly, there's somebody else that would go, oh, I didn't. Whenever we hear about these tragedies, everyone's like, I didn't know they were going through that.
Yeah. That's true.
Don't hold it in. Talk to the people that love you, get the help that you need, and then be the best version of you. And then what you can work on, once you have that stuff in the background, you get your physical health together, you can get your eating right. All of these things are possible, but it all starts from there. So our affirmation again of the day is mental health is incredibly important. Reach out to people. And like we always say before we end this podcast, I love you, brother. And
love you too, bro.
Anything that you ever need, you know that you can speak to me and I can speak to you and everybody out there too. Even if you do nothing else but send like, hey, I don't know how to get started on any of these things. Your health journey, your mental health journey. I work in a professional career about helping people out with housing opportunities. So again, I'm not going to ever really plug my business, but if you literally hit me, I don't know where to start. I'm more than happy to, for absolutely free, get you started on a part of your mental health is having a place to live.
Yeah. That's a big load off your mind.
You don't know where you're going to live, or you don't know how you're going to have your next meal, or you don't know all these things. You can't do it, but you have the entirety of the internet at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And you can start today. I promise you can start today. And I've gone through this personal journey of therapy, and it's been great.
So have I.
Go through marriage therapy. That is great. These are all things that have enhanced my life. None of them have been a detriment. So, but I also have an incredible support system. So, it's all days are good because I know at the end of the day, there's people that have my back. So
agreed, facts, same. And I will say, piggyback on what Doug was saying. I also, I have a therapist who I go see on a regular. Being in the service and doing the things that I did. I had to have somebody who's there. And again, I have a great support system, great family. And that includes who you see on screen next to me as part of my family, as well as our two other brothers. And our brother who does actually, take care of people mentally for a living. So I can piggyback on that. Please, please, please. I don't care at this. Like we're going to link our Twitter. And if you want to reach out and just to say hi or need help with anything, reach out. If you want to hit me on Twitter, my DMs are open. My Twitter page is open. If you want to talk about anything, if you need somebody to talk to, reach out. I'm here.
Absolutely. And then we're going to make sure that we, obviously in the midst of the sports stuff, we always want to toss in some stuff that is, important to everybody. So again, if there's something that you want us to talk about, if you want something to spawn off of this, what you'll see too, I've encouraged my brother to do this on a number of times. We're going to have some just shorts of, hey, here's the thing that I was cooking. Here's the exercise thing that I'm doing. So not even just in the pod structure, you'll just see some exercise stuff. It'll all be kind of what we envision on as kind of like this, this multifaceted kind of pod that we have here where you can get a whole bunch of different stuff. The pre-recorded one that we're going to do with our brother about mental health. I mean, that's going to be a long one. We really want to kind of get down in the depths of how do you get started, insurance, all the things that we're going to talk about in the future. We're going to talk about saving.
Yep.
The financial related stuff, we want to try to
be does that too.
And then we'll talk about real stuff too. Like we're all married men.
Yep.
And we all, most of us have children, and even our brother who doesn't have a children, he has a family that he has to take care of, and he has family members that he has to take care of, and that's all hard. So ways that you can make life easier for yourself. So we're going to go on over all these different topics. So, stay tuned with us. We're going to be very regular in posting. Again, it may not be this super long format. Somebody may get hired as the Giants coach today, and we got to do an emergency.
We got to do an emergency session.
But what we'll do is, again, we'll drop all of our socials in the description. We'll make sure that this is going to go live in about a day. But thanks everyone for joining us, and we will see you next time. For my brother Stretch, for me, Dub, we'll see y'all.
Peace.